Hi, I'm Steven from Flivver Channel. This video is another in my Behind the Lens series where I show how I make my videos. In this case, I want to show how I made a new mount for my GoPro MediaMod to overcome one of its shortcomings. I 3D printed this mount. Stay tuned to the end of the video to see how you can get the files you need for free to make one of these yourself. I use a GoPro for filming my antique car in action and in the workshop. Sometimes I like to use the GoPro MediaMod accessory, but its mounting is a pain. I'll explain that in a second. In this video, I'll show you the GoPro MediaMod mount that I've developed. It works with the GoPro 10, 11, and 12 MediaMod. I designed the mount in CAD, and I sliced it for 3D printing. I use an inexpensive plastic filament printer that I bought used on Kijiji. It only takes about an hour to print. I use the 3D printer for various projects on my old car. It's really handy. The MediaMod is a really neat GoPro accessory. It has some pretty nice capabilities, so I can see why people are anxious to use it. It enables you to hook up these better microphones that are built in to the MediaMod to your GoPro and to use them there. But it also gives you access to a port for external microphones, USB power pass-through, and really quite uniquely, it has a port here for HDMI output, so you can stream directly from your GoPro to HDMI. So that's really useful. And then it's got cold shoes for mounting things. So it's a really neat little device, and it's great to use. But the MediaMod has one serious shortcoming, and I'll demonstrate that now. So if you've got your GoPro mounted on some sort of a mount, doesn't matter what kind, using the two tabs for the GoPro, you can always at any time power off and open it up and take out the battery or the SD card. Alright. But now let's put the GoPro in the MediaMod so I can demonstrate what I'm talking about here. So the GoPro just slides in. Now you'll see that the door here is going to interfere with the connector, so when you're using the MediaMod you need to pull the GoPro door off. It's meant to do that, so that works well. Now when you slide it in here, close it up, it's just like a slightly bigger GoPro with all those new ports and cold shoes, so it's kind of cool. All the buttons work the same, everything's good. Even the mounts just fold through the bottom here. There we go. We've got it mounted there. So now we've got our GoPro in the MediaMod mounted on our mount. Everything's great. Turn it on. Do our filming. Everything's great. Things are working wonderfully. Now we decide it's time to add a new battery, to replace the battery with a fresh one, or we want to change the SD card. So we turn it off. Open the door, and remember, the door for the GoPro is on the other side here, so it's got to come out before you can get at it. but it can't come out because the GoPro's tabs have come through the MediaMod to mount. So the only way we can change the battery or change the SD card is to completely unmount the whole works. Fold the tabs back in, and then we can pull the GoPro out and get at the battery and the SD card. Now that is a nightmare. If this mount was placed somewhere inconvenient, you just wanted to change the battery and then keep filming with the same field of view and that sort of thing, you're out of luck because you've had to completely unmount everything just to get the battery or the SD card out. And that is why I developed the MediaMod Mount, because this mount allows you to open the MediaMod, take out the GoPro, change the battery or the SD card, put it back in without ever unmounting the mount. So let me demonstrate that. So we're going to use just a standard mount here. GoPro back in. Cold shoot. So we can mount our MediaMod mount to our GoPro MediaMod. It's a nice secure mount. It's got a 1/4 20 thread in the bottom, so you can thread in your mount. You can leave it mounted, and at any time you can open it up, pull out your GoPro, and access the battery and the SD card without unmounting the mount. That's what it's all about. I'm down in my workshop and I'm about to start gluing together some of my 3D printed MediaMod mounts. Here you'll see my newly 3D printed mount parts. These are my latest version of the mount and some of my earlier attempts. Some of these were complete failures, and others, they're workable. They're not bad, but I've made a few little improvements, and the final version has been printed here. I'm going to glue these together now. I'm just using some CA glue. I print these with the intent of gluing them together because it's the only way I could figure out how to get the strength with the ley lines where I needed it in the print. So it'd be great if I could figure out a design that you could print in one go and would be just as strong and accurate, but I couldn't come up with that. So I've designed it so that you print them in the best possible orientation for accuracy and strength, and then we just glue them together. So that's what I'm about to do now. So CA glue like this is really easy to use, but it does tend to really stick well to human skin, so be careful about that. Now you may find that you've got some little burrs that you need to clean up with a file. Doesn't take much to clean those up. I printed these in PLA, which is a plant-based plastic. It's not a oil-based plastic. It's really easy to print. It's really strong, but the one problem it has is that it tends to soften if it's left in bright sunlight on a hot day. So if you're going to use these mounts in a hot place or in bright sunlight, I'd suggest you use a different 3D print material that's more stable at high temperature. But for most of my work, I find that these are just fine. Now I like the look of the black buttons on the blue mount and the blue buttons on the black mount, but obviously you can print these any color you want. These buttons are also structural. They help tie the glue joint together really nicely. Now that glue can take a little while to dry. It requires some humidity, and there's quite a bit of glue in there on all those joints. So at this point we can leave things to dry. Next I will install these nuts so that you have metal threads for your mount, and then we'll figure out how the actual MediaMod and the cold shoe mount all work together. So I'll show you how to assemble and use the mount. I'm going to show you how I actually assemble my 3D printed MediaMod mount to the MediaMod and how you can use it. So once you've got your 3D printed MediaMod mount completely assembled with the nuts inserted, fully glued and dried, then it's ready for assembly. So you need one of these cold shoe adapters. Start by removing one of the nuts, and then we want to just thread that in to our MediaMod mount here. Now the exact depth that you thread this in is important, and you just need to experiment with different depths until you get a really good fit on your MediaMod. This is what adapts to any error we have in the assembly gluing or in the 3D printing and that sort of thing. So that's why it's adjustable for us. Generally you want it in as deep as you can to get a good fit. Too far out and you'll find that when we mount it, the bottom doesn't engage very nicely in the MediaMod. Now you'll notice that the MediaMod mount has a matching shape to fit the bottom of the MediaMod itself. So we start with it in there a ways and we just experiment with the fit. You want this to remain loose. You do not want to put this nut on yet. Keep this nice and loose because that's going to allow us to get it together, and then when we put the nut on, it's all going to tighten up nicely. So now we're just trying to get this on here. If the adapter is threaded too far in, you just won't be able to get this to go on. There we go. That wasn't bad. See how that fits down there? So it looks pretty close. We don't want to tighten this one up yet. We're going to put this nut on and snug it up and see if everything stays well aligned and snug. So we snug that one up. Nice. Yeah, we got a nice fit there now. See that? Then when you tighten this one up, there, you get a very good secure mount for your MediaMod. And you can open and close the door while it's mounted. This is your tripod mount for quarter 20. In future versions of this design, I'd like to have another cold shoe mount, maybe on the side here or at 45 degrees, and some better way that you could mount on a tripod here. I'm going to see if half a turn or a quarter turn on this cold shoe mount makes this even more secure. So let's just experiment with that. So I'm going to loosen that one up. Loosen that one up. Take it off. Give ourselves half a turn. Yeah, that's even better. That's really secure now. Like you can see the MediaMod wants to stay. I can't even pull those apart. Snug those up. Now you've got your mount ready to use. You can just thread it on a tripod and use it. I've posted the files for free, so anybody can make one of these. Feel free to modify and improve the design. See the link to the files in the description. Thanks for watching. You might also like this video, where I explain how I get some crazy car angles when filming my old car in action using the GoPro.